Did you forget to hit the record button? That's funny as shit. We gotta go through all that again?
So, hey, it's Eric with Fall Fanatics Effect Game Calls Duck Hunters here on Facebook, or maybe this could be on YouTube.
You said you could send it everywhere, right?
Everywhere. Well, I want to, but I gotta, like I was saying when we weren't recording, I gotta think of a name. I did one this morning and asked people to put names, and if I pick theirs and use their name, I'll give a duck call. So I might as well start that off. I still haven't picked out a name, so if you have a name for the podcast and I use it, I'll give a duck
good
call.
idea.
Also, if it's a funny one and you put it in the comments, or it's just cool and I might use it anyway, I'll probably send you a decal or something.
For the effort.
Yeah, decal for the effort. So I'm here with Rob today. This is the first time I have a guest, and it's really awesome. I wanted to pick not only probably a person that knows me the most, but a guy that's worked with me in the duck calls and all that. But he's been hunting and fishing his whole life, and so here's Rob.
Hey guys. Yeah, this isn't the first time we've done together stuff on, recording it. We did a lot of stuff on Twitch together.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. A lot of people probably already know you from Twitch, and I think there was some Facebook live feeds.
Yeah, I was probably with you on that too. Even just come visit you.
Yeah.
Just come sit in the garage with you.
So it's funny because there's new people and they don't know about the couple nights that people have come and visited and made calls and oh boy, those are some of the funnest.
They are the fun nights.
Out of control till 4 a.m. And the funny thing is, for me, is that we're over here having a good time making calls and all that other stuff. The funny thing is, the next day, like at noon, all the messages to the page I get of everyone that's like hungover, and it occurs to me that everyone was also being as stupid as I was and
drinking right with us.
Oh
yeah,
just makes it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to think how cool that community is, and that's why I started this podcast too. There's a lot of great people I know like you, but I also know like game wardens and guides and people all over, and then the ability that people that have been on the page and stuff like that maybe not have been outspoken but have guide services or outfitting services to say, hey Eric, interview me.
Yeah, I think you got a lot of good interviews coming up.
I have a lot of good ideas too. The one I was going to do this morning was going to be semi or pump for beginner. And I think that I'll probably do that next week. I need a guest, but I think that's a good topic.
It is a good one.
Yeah.
I really have no opinion on that one. I shoot whatever gun I have, whether it's a pump or a semi. I kind of like a pump over a semi myself.
For a beginner?
Even for, like now.
Sure.
I prefer the pump over the semi-automatic. I don't know why. I think it gives me a chance to re-aim and not shoot too fast.
Sure. I think I was thinking about it, like, what would I talk about? And the one thing that I've learned is pretty much everybody rushes their shot. And
yep, that's an adrenaline thing.
Yeah, you can't help it. It's so exciting and it's ready to shoot. And, Jimmy next to you shoots them all right away anyway. The son of a bitch.
And he's a good goddamn aim.
Yeah. Damn it, Jimmy can't shoot. You got your limit. But working with Terry, I've learned, because all these other guys are paying. I don't want to be Jimmy.
Right.
So you kind of sit and wait, and then you want to clean up. You want the piles, right? So you actually want. And I learned like almost immediately. I'm beating on these birds and I'm waiting for other people to shoot them and I'm listening for the other shots. And when I start, like the popcorn ending, and I start, that first one, and it's evident in a lot of my 700 videos, I'm dropping it. And the second one usually too.
You're a good shot.
The third, well, I don't know. I think it's more that going back to the semi and pump, I think it's more that I'm taking way, like, people are doing it, shooting 3 shots in 1 or 2 seconds, where I'm shooting 2 shots in 8 seconds.
Taking your time and aiming.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's evident.
it's just so.
Patience.
I think, and I use a pump sometimes. I think a pump is good for a beginner because, well, first of all, the first however many times, on and off, and the first few times for sure, you're going to forget the pump or do the pump wrong or
Right.
eject a good shell for, yeah, eject a good shell, then, oh shit, and then put in, bang, and then safety and all that. But then once you get used to pump, I think it would give you that beat.
Yep. Well, I know the way I got trained. I got single shots.
Sure.
I got a single shot 410. So I had to make sure that I aimed. A single shot 22. I had to make sure I aimed because that second shot ain't coming right away.
I mean, I was totally different. I had a shot or maybe 2 or, I only got, so many as well. But, man, I was shooting. It's like, stop! Wait till we call them! I couldn't wait to blow through. I remember as a kid not getting my limit and shooting a box or 2 of shells.
Yep.
I think I had more fun shooting. That brings up a point. I've done the youth hunt the past few years here, and I've gotten to take out a lot of kids recently, which is really awesome. And I think a lot of parents, they do that, where they're like, the rein is so tight where dad or mom have to say shoot before they shoot.
Yep.
Instead of, okay, if you see one close and it's in your zone, I trust you, fire away, and then keep an eye on them. Make sure they're not swinging their barrel around and make sure their safety's on and
Yep.
whatever.
That's what I had to go through.
But if you give them a box of shells and say, go crazy in your zone, I think that's way more fun.
It's more fun.
A lot of times on the youth hunts, I have to say, listen, if it's anywhere near, because they're not shooting anything. Nothing is dying, right?
Yeah.
These pictures of kids, they're either water swatting them or daddy did it, right?
Yeah.
They aren't hitting anything, just like we were when we were a kid.
Yep.
So I get 100 birds to decoy into 5 kids, and they maybe shoot 2. Maybe. And that's because by the end, I'm like, okay, let them land first. We've blown through a box of shells. Everyone keeps missing. We're going to let them land, and we're going to try to get a couple, right? And they have fun. The first part of the day, though, when they're sitting there and they're fumbling with the safety and the pump and all that, and dad's kind of like, just wait, I don't know who's going to shoot. It's a lot of politeness and whatever, where I'm just like, crank it up.
Yep. Just shoot them.
Fire in the hole. Let's go. Stay in your lane. Be careful. Keep your safety on and blow through a box.
Yep. Well, that's where I got lucky as a kid also, where my parents gave me a BB gun and said, okay, you know the rules. Go ahead and go out and walk. Just don't break anything you're not supposed to.
Right.
I actually had to pay for a window because I was shooting down the wrong lane and it ricocheted into the window. So, you live and you learn. But I was around guns all the time. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, I think I got my first BB gun when I was like 8.
Yeah, that's probably about it.
And I could be in the backyard, and I remember shooting at anything and everything that moved. And I remember, it was maybe not even that summer. I don't know if I killed anything or not. Maybe it was the next summer, maybe it was that summer, but I finally shot, and I saw it like, it wasn't that good of a BB gun, so it like kind of lobbed in there.
Yep,
right?
you had to learn the arc.
I saw the BB lobbing through the air and strike a robin right in the head. And the robin just fell like a brick off the thing, and I cried. Oh, I walked up and I looked at that thing, and I petted it, and I was praying to God, and oh, did I feel... And I brought my BB gun in and put it like in the back of my closet and cussed at it and stuff, flamed it on the BB gun, and it really gave me an appreciation right then and there of what guns can do. I was forever serious after that because I knew that
Guns can kill.
and the better I got, the more likely it was going to happen. If I was, like, well, I can't point at any of those things anymore because I know where the BB's going now.
It's funny to find how many people are very nonchalant about their guns.
Yeah.
Where they point it.
Yeah.
Especially, like, they have those, it wasn't paintball, it was shooting those little plastic BBs at each other.
Sure. Airsoft.
Airsoft, yeah. And when we were taking a break, when our masks are all off, guys are walking around and swinging their barrels, and I had to walk away before I punched somebody.
Sure.
Don't point that thing at me unless you're planning on shooting me.
I think waterfowl hunting specifically, well, deer hunting too, any type of hunting, there's a lot of guys that are kind of, for a lack of a better term, weekend warrior. They have their week a year with the guys.
Yep.
Maybe worse, I think, deer hunting, but I could be wrong. And
Yep,
just stereotypical, where they're pretty much just going to drink all weekend, and they don't really mess with guns, and they make little mistakes a lot.
Yep, they don't have the experience.
Yeah, just little mistakes, muzzle putting the gun in the wrong way in the boat, or putting it the wrong way in the lip, or walking in front of people they should, just, and it's dangerous.
Well, you got to keep. I make mistakes too, even after all these years.
Oh,
I
yeah.
catch myself going, "Oh, I can't do that."
Yeah,
So I mean, it's a constant thing you got to watch. There's so many accidents now.
yeah.
I don't go deer hunting on public land anymore
There's a lot of people that don't.
because of that.
I've never gone deer hunting on public land because of that. I mean, ever since I was a kid, it's like
Too many accidents.
the wife sitting in the truck on the road, and some other hunter shoots her.
Right. Just because he wasn't,
Yeah, well,
people don't look
yeah.
where the bullet's going to actually go to.
That's why back to Robin, it's terrible. I don't want to shoot something for no reason, but the overall in my life, how important that was. From then on, I always, it's like when you cut yourself real good on something sharp the very first time, and forever, when you got a whatever sharp, you're like, no.
Yep.
Last
I know that
time I
one.
tried to see if it was sharp and lop my thumb off.
Yeah, I got scars.
Yeah. And then anytime you touch a knife or whatever, you go, okay, or fire, or whatever. You kind of got to, unfortunately, make a mistake that's where it kind of rattles your cage.
Yep, you learn from experience.
Unfortunately. There are plenty of people that are safe, but I think people do make a lot of mistakes.
Everybody makes mistakes, but yeah, everybody's got to be watching that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and exposing kids to stuff like that when they're young to make it less stigmatized and things like that, where they can get an appreciation when they're young. I mean,
Even farm animals.
I got two boys, and a lot of people know that or whatever, but so for the past few years, they say they want Nerf guns. Hell, we got 20 Nerf guns in our house.
Right.
And some of them hurt.
You learn.
And we don't wear eye protection or anything. And the boys, they'll gang up on me, and I'll turn and just let loose. Well, the space has widened over the years, right? When they were younger, they just come up and point blank get me, and I'd get them in the butt while they're running away. Well, after a few perfectly how they just flush
Smack it, yeah.
and they yelp, it's like, okay, the next time they come within 3 feet, and then, nope, I'm still too close.
That's funny. They learn.
Dad still got, and now it's like, I'm getting sniped right
They're
there.
hiding behind shit, huh?
All of a sudden, something goes whoosh by my head, and I'm like, where'd that come from?
That's funny. Now they're hiding.
But
Yep.
they completely understand what's happening and where they're aiming and what's going on. And,
Yep. Learn from experience.
yeah.
What is that? What do they say? With experience comes wisdom.
Yeah,
And a lot of kids don't get the experiences that we had as kids.
for sure. Well, I mean, when Chris and I started the page a long time ago, that was the whole point, is to try to inspire other people to go out, because it's a declining sport. More and more, these organizations that are out there, I'm not going to name them, they're getting smaller and smaller. I mean, they get bigger donations because everyone's retired and whatever, and there's a big pool there, but their 18 to 45 demographic is pretty much
Dwindled, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not there. And so that was the point, is to try to show people beautiful sunrises and sunset, because everyone that hunts knows that 98% of hunting is just sitting outside.
I don't know. Your waterfowl hunting, that's some work. You guys work hard for your hunt. Putting out all the decoys and picking them back up. And, you know, my deer hunting, I don't have to do that.
Well, I got a buddy. I got a few buddies that snow goose hunt, but I got a buddy I talked to a bunch named Tyler, and he wants to come on here too.
That's what we went hunting with. Wasn't that who we went hunting
No,
with? No, that was somebody else?
Yep.
Okay.
No, that was Riley Ham.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, yeah.
I should have him on here. He'd be on here.
Yeah.
I'll call Riley. But they got all the decoy and
Is he going to bring his girlfriend too?
and 2 years ago I went up to Minot and there's a guy up there, Jeff Hall, and he's got a bunch of snow. And these guys want to put out like
I know
1,000 decoys, right? And it's fun when the birds commit and all that other stuff. But me, I like a dozen decoys, one mojo, the canoe, my dog.
Yeah.
I actually like hunting with a couple people. I like getting in a little slough with like 4 guys, a little patch over here and a patch over there. And if it's not working, team up or whatever. That's the way I like to puddle grind. I love being on the X. I love being in the field. But it's just weird. I don't know. I like the water the best. I think it's fun to watch the dogs work in the water. I like seeing I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Have you field hunted? We snow goose.
Yeah, I did the snow goose where we laid down in the blind.
So what
That was
did you
all right. I got
prefer?
the nap.
And pit hunting. See, I
So
don't
I've
know.
never done the pit hunting.
Maybe that's it.
And
Is
then
that
I sat out in the slough with you that one time where'd we go? It was out with Onawasika.
with Terry?
With Terry, yep. We went out to that.
The wrong boots.
Yeah, the wrong boots. It was just, it wasn't your fault. I wasn't prepared for that
That's
cold
like
ass shit.
duck hunting 101. Wear your waders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boots weren't high enough and water went in, I fell over and I was all wet here, and I just wasn't prepared.
See, I think that's why guys like field hunting is like you can show up in your pajamas because
Yep.
you're going to go in a blind,
Yep.
right? And it's dry
Yep.
and you can get nice and warm and toasty in your thing and take a nap or scroll on your phone and, do all those things and it won't bother the birds. Where I feel like I'm in a tomb. I want to look around. Terry too, I spend the whole time sitting up.
We did have another blind that he made out a trailer that made it look like those big round hay bales.
The A-frames.
Yeah, that was cool.
See, like in those too, same with pits. Like I feel like I'm standing on the bench the whole time, like peacock and trying to look around like a giraffe. I don't know. Where like if I'm hunkered down in a pond and I can't see over the cattails, I don't know, for some reason I just feel like the ducks are coming and they're falling from the heavens. I don't know.
Yeah, see,
I like the sounds, the frogs and the crickets and seeing the muskrats and I don't mind seeing the deer and stuff. I mean, I enjoy that, like in the field and all that. Coyotes. It's a beautiful thing.
oh, watching the sunrise after you get done doing all the flipping work and sitting down and then watching the sun come up. That's really cool. But like I said, you waterfowlers work way
Well, I think
too
that's
hard
why
for me.
when guys get older, they use guides more, especially
Yep.
for waterfowling. And then another thing I've seen a lot of too with waterfowling is guys turn into birders, where they're like, you know what, I've shot 1 billion ducks. I'm gonna start taking pictures. I can get to spots that.
Oh, that's
and
kinda cool.
Some of the best.
Pictures.
Yeah, some of the best guys that get the best duck hunting pictures are really good duck hunters, and they just pretend like they're duck hunting,
Yep.
and you can bait them. I mean, it's kind of not ethical between like photographers and whatever, but how are you going to prove it?
And I suppose it's not illegal if you're not shooting them.
You can feed the ducks.
Yep.
You can feed the ducks. You can wave a flag of Wonder Bread, and they'll come.
They will.
I know photographers that and nothing against it, because that's how you get the best. You can be with an awesome lens, and have them almost playing. Run to the other side of the pond. I'm over here. White bread. Like,
Yep.
oh shit, or corn. I've seen a lot of videos where with ducks and pictures where they'll have them coming in. A dude will come out with a 5-gallon bucket of corn and then just dump it in like a foot or 2 feet of water in the edge of the pond, and all of a sudden, because the dude does it every day, 100 mallards show up and just start making the water boil.
Yep.
And that's good video. And speaking back
That's
to
why Dad puts out his bird feeders so he can watch the birds.
exactly, like I've been talking about for a long time, is getting property. That's part of the stuff that, or as far as content for online. I mean,
Yep.
TV shows need pictures of ducks swimming in ponds. They need that. It's,
Oh, I never
it's
thought of
never
that.
ending, or flying in the air, or a barn, or turkey, or like, I don't know the prices, but especially here in Minnesota, these white-tailed deer hunts, I've been looking around, and
Right.
they're expensive. And then if you get one and you want it like Texas, like the whole package deal where you get I mean,
They butcher it for you. They skin it. They,
yeah,
gut it. Yeah.
I don't want to talk out of my ass, but I think it's like, for one deer, it's way over 10 grand, right?
Wow. I guess I've never priced because I've always done my own.
And then, you kind of get to pick what trail cams, or, it's not, I don't think it's that easy or whatever, but it's, where it's like, okay, these are the deer and where they are as of last night, which one do you want to try to go after, or what?
Well, good guide will know that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I don't know where I was going with all that.
Huh.
Just other than, we were talking about the property and stuff in Minnesota.
Yep.
So, I mean, so you got like a pole barn with rooms in it, right?
Yep.
That's a 10 grand investment, right?
Yep.
That's
But,
one.
yeah.
That's one client. Let's say another 10 grand for something else, for tree stands and trail cams, right?
Yep.
Then what? Can you breed deer? I mean,
You can, but
you got
I've
another
looked into
10
it.
grand?
yeah, the ones that depends on what you want to do. You can breed whitetail,
Yeah.
but actually the best one to raise is the red fallow. It gets bigger, has bigger antlers. And the reason to farm deer is more for the antlers.
Well, I mean, I hear that, and I've been to like those in Wisconsin, like where you can almost pet them and stuff,
Yep.
where you can go. That's not like on the North American Grand Slam for deer though. It's like muley, eastern,
Well, it's
whitetail,
because the red
and
fallow is more of
sitcock.
a domestic deer.
So
Domesticated. That's what it is. Domesticated.
well, even if you couldn't farm them, you could have property that produced deer,
Yes.
good deer, good turkey. I mean, it's just really unlimited.
Well, I remember you saying something about that, raising ducks. How, people will watch it just like they watch, the eagles or any
Yeah.
other.
Chickens, turkeys,
Dogs.
pheasants,
Yeah.
and you keep some, and you're doing whatever, and they're coming in, and then the springtime, that's when everything is happening, and
Yep.
then the fall, the summer is the maintenance, and then the fall is the harvest, and then the winter is the try to fix up all the shit.
Yep.
Do all the in the shop jobs and all that other stuff. It's all fantastic content. I mean, there are thousands of people that make a really good living just doing that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, because
Learn a lot of stuff.
It's just getting to that point. You need the property.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get property. Build on it.
I mean, our duck season and goose season is so long here. I mean, it's basically from September till January. There's a couple breaks. I mean, the duck
I
season
didn't realize
ends,
it was that long.
but hell yeah, you can shoot geese into January.
Wow.
And a lot of places, their duck season doesn't even start till like Christmas and stuff like that. So
Is that further down south?
yeah,
Ah, okay.
my point is like I don't think you can guide in Minnesota or maybe you can. No, you can, but that aside, I mean, just the 60 days of the 8 weeks of duck hunting. How big of a space do you need for 8 guys? And okay, at $100 a guy, that's $800 a week times 8 weeks. What's that?
8 times 8 is
6,400.
Yep.
That's a heck of a lot of money just to say, hey, yeah, you can sleep here. And
Yeah.
that's $100 for a week, right? Not
Yeah.
$100 a night.
Right. $100 for a week. That's what you were saying. Yeah.
Times 8 guys. No, yeah, times 8 weeks, 6,400.
Yeah.
And that's cheap.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't take that? $100 to go to Super Prime.
Yeah. Would you all put like a eating area in there? They bring their own food. Or you have a restaurant.
Yeah, you just no. You just I mean you get there, but you just have a fridge. It's just a place. It's empty. The group before has to clean it up or pay a deposit.
Right.
Yeah, or we keep the deposit or what, I mean, just talking out loud, $100 for a week is probably too cheap. A guy's gonna stay like 5 or 6 days, because it would be the dates.
Most people don't have a week to do stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking about $100 because probably 50% would only have like 3 days or 4 days, but still that's like $25 a night. That's a hell of a deal. At $200, which still for a week is a really freaking good deal. That's what 13 grand or 12.8.
Well, if you go on the supply and demand, what you do is like most every other business does is the weekends
Yeah.
are going to be more expensive. And
Yeah.
if you can come during the week,
Yeah.
we'll give you a heck of a break.
I suppose you could totally do it that way where you could see the way I was thinking of is you'd have 8 weeks and then like 8 groups. But maybe I heard you wrong, but what now I'm seeing is there's 8 slots for 60 days.
Right.
Pick and choose. The thing that could get crappy with that is the like random one spots. So that's what I'm saying. Like pick a week. If you can only make it 3 days, well, that's fine.
That's not our problem. That's
Yeah.
your problem.
That room will be empty.
But paid for.
Yep, but paid for.
Yeah. There's 2 ways you can go there.
Yep, and then that way you got 8 guys per week logged and signed in. You know how much you're gonna get. It's okay. I'm gonna get $12,500, and that would pay property taxes and a lot of other stuff. I mean, the mortgage couldn't be much, especially in some of those places over $1,000.
It depends on what kind of stuff you got on the property.
We're talking
Out
just
house?
property, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, I know we'd have to do better than that, but yeah, electricity, toilet, right, heat, but
Yeah.
it's not that expensive.
Right. Most expensive thing would be the septic system and
Yeah.
drilling for water.
You'd have to get a property that already had that type of stuff. But I've looked at it enough that like 100 grand goes a long. When you're just talking property that has access and some of them is even some of the properties even on water.
Yeah. That would be the best.
Yeah, well, I think guys would probably have to. That's the thing. If you're going on a hunting trip, it's one thing for like turkey or deer or whatever. Like okay, and if we had water on the property, that's cool. But you're gonna have to scout, right?
I suppose you're gonna have different places
Yeah.
depending on where the birds are coming in.
Yeah.
I learned that a lot riding around with you, scouting with you.
Well, if it was close enough, if it was like say a Watana area, just for example, they could always have the option to go with Terry.
Yeah.
He's available. Roll down there.
Yeah.
You're staying here for cheaper than any hotel, and it's your own spot and whatever. You can come back and sit around the campfire and BS with the guys and fish and do all the other fun stuff.
Yep.
go with Terry during the day.
Probably have to have a couple of dogs. Have a dog kennel in there. Have a place for dogs. If guys bring dogs, have kennels in there for them.
Yep. Yep, you just build a little outside kennel. Yep. You don't
real
have to
nice.
go crazy.
You got a big pole bar, you could be real nice and build it inside.
Yeah.
Just over in the opposite corner,
Well, there are people that have allergies.
I suppose.
Yep. I've been to a lot of hunting places where your dogs have to stay outside.
Yeah.
Not outside, but like they can't come in the building. They stay in a
In the
different
living
building.
area. They can't come in the living area.
Yep, the kitchens, any of that stuff. Because, yeah, and you know, there's that one guy that's a little bit sensitive to allergies is the guy that makes that rule, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some guys, you know, if a dog sits on a couch and they come and sit down, they just break out, right?
Yep.
So
Fortunately, it's
they
worse
make
with
that
cats.
rule. It's like the peanuts on an airline, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, this guy could die. So we just had to make a rule.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand that. I've watched, people with allergies suffer. It's too bad.
Yeah, it is. They need Allegra or whatever.
That's why I keep telling you I'm going to get myself a standard poodle for hunting. Hypoallergenic hunting dog.
So, I love that idea. I think that'd be awesome. You got to come up with a good name for it too. So, we're raising ducks, right?
Yep.
And I've told you before, I would want to take those classes to be able to band them.
Yep.
And so we can, and I think you could just do it anyway, but like, I'd like to get like federally or whatever certified. But,
Yep.
so you band them, it's the special bands or whatever. Imagine the youth hunt.
The things that you can give away.
No, just to have essentially X amount of farm mallards that it's their last day at home.
Yeah. They're coming back. They're coming back.
Yeah.
They're coming back.
Yeah. They're looking at you while you walk up with a shotgun wondering, what are you doing? Why are you shooting at us? Let's go back home. No! Well, we should go back home. No!
Yeah.
I mean, you could have so many kids and, people that never did and, everyone that's terrible at calling.
They're coming back.
I think because of that, I think there are laws about that. I'm not sure, and of course I would look into make
Right.
sure it's all legal. But I think it's something like you can't feed them anymore after a certain, like for a month before or what.
I see. Yeah.
At
It's
some
kind of
point-
like putting the salt out for the deer. It's kind of like baiting them in.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
know that. Like I know in some states they hunt over the corn thing.
Over the cornfield, or
No, the corn feeder.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Some states are a lot more forgiving, I guess, than Minnesota is. And
I suppose
Wisconsin.
it depends on population.
I suppose, yeah. If they want to get rid of them,
Yeah.
then it's kind of like the hog hunts, right?
Yeah,
You can go shoot as many hogs you want. Go ahead.
yeah.
Isn't that the rule?
I've seen enough of those where, if you ask the guy honestly, it's like, would you rather not have the hogs? Because, their life is around, because it's such a nuisance and they got to shoot them and then they eat them and then they make money. Like if they're, I'm sure everyone's seen, maybe they haven't. When you catch these hogs in a lot of areas, like, I think food processing companies buy them.
Really?
But they have to be over like 30 or 40 pounds or whatever, or it's not worth them
Butchering
skinning
it,
and gutting
yep.
and all that. So they get the small ones, which are actually better. And, you ask these guys, would you rather not or have them now that it's such a problem? And all of them are like, man, I love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fun. I love it. And I love how they taste. And I love, hunting them. And I love, selling them. And it's part of my life.
We don't have any around here, do we?
They're so smart. They're one of the only animals on Earth that have sex for pleasure.
Wow, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
It's like them.
I know
Like-
chimpanzees do too, don't they?
It's like some type of primates,
Yep,
and then like dolphins.
yep. Then us.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Have you ever seen ducks, mate?
No.
Oh, it's violent. It's super violent. It's rape.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they have like a hook. I'm not
Is
exactly
that like a cat too? That has a hook too, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I think it's to actually cut them so they close up.
Ah,
I could be totally wrong.
I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a hook on.
I thought that was to keep them in long enough.
Maybe. I actually don't. Maybe that's with cats. That anyway, yeah, they jump on them, bite their frickin' head like yeah, as hard as they can, and then the next one next to it's trying to push it off, and you see them around the ponds and stuff, and they're just harassing. And that's like, a great time. I've always said a great time to call, because the hens are in so much distress. You can make almost any hen noise, and the males are so horny that they'll just come flying for anywhere. And the other hens are almost relieved. Probably more than relieved.
That's funny.
It is terrible. I've sat there for hours and just watch a poor. She's got to be exhausted.
Fighting it off so much.
Chased by three, drakes. They're fighting. She's fighting. Mounting her, then they fly around. She's trying to get away. They get back in, then they're chasing her around. Oh, it's always the same too. It's terrible.
That would be fun to watch.
Oh, I've seen it a lot of times. If you go out to any pond in the spring, bring a duck call. It doesn't matter how good of a call you are. Just blowing that thing. And I've been sitting on the side of a hill, like on a cut, like the first spring cut where they cut it real low, and I had Drake mallards, 5 feet above my head, looking for the duck, looking for the hen, going, it's not me, dude. Where in the fall, hell no. They're like, they come in from like a mile away, side-eyed.
Yep. I remember that when we were goose hunting.
Yeah.
As long as you drive by them, they're just fine. You stop that vehicle, them guys fly.
That's like that one of the noob, like when a guy's a new waterfowler and they're driving and you're like, don't stop. And they're like, no, I'll just go real slow. And like, no, stop.
Yep.
Like, oh, they flew. And it's like, yeah, they flew. You got to do 60 miles.
Yep. I remember that. If you don't do 60 by them, they know.
Yep.
It's almost like it's been bred into them now. The smart ones fly away and live. It is funny to watch, and how they communicate. The one will tell the rest, "Hey, we're fucked," and they all fly away.
I remember one time we were creeping. It was Chris and I, and we were trying to sneak up on these snow geese, and they were just piling in. And we were way the F out there and really well hidden. And had been a really weird year, and the cattails grew really, really tall, like 10, 14, 16 feet tall. But then the wind had not, and like it started to snow and ice, had knocked them down. So it was like, a big blanket, all the same direction of those. Yep. But the thing is, if you put your foot in there, it was still 4 feet to the ground, right? So you're trudging through that stuff, and we're ducking inside of it too, as the bigger groups were kind of making weirder noises over us, like, oh man, we better hide for a little bit.
Yep.
And if I looked up, I would get sick. They were going so many different directions on so many different levels that it was just instant. It was like standing at the top of anything and just looking straight over the edge. It was exact. Wow. It was just like, I can't look. And the noise, just that I'd never experienced, we were in 100,000 snow geese,
Wow.
and they knew we were there, right? But there was enough cover, and the big group was still like a half a mile away that they didn't really care,
Right.
and it was just like a weird alien movie, like birds or something. I was hooked. I was just like, what?
Now, did you get any out of that flock?
I think we finally went and jumped them, but that was the part, trudging through the 4-foot reeds that were all knocked down and looking up and getting vertigo and trying to look down and take a deep breath and go, okay, just concentrate on like a couple birds. Like maybe there's some close. Try to pick out low ones and maybe we'll just pop a couple right out of here.
Yep.
And Chris will start popping. If I start popping, everything will be fine. And look up and burr, burr.
Yeah.
No, I can't look up. Just look at one bird and just you see it's like gnats.
Yep.
Oh, it was awesome.
That would be awesome.
It was so awesome.
Yeah, I think we only had like 1 or 2 flocks come in when we were doing the snow goose hunt.
Yeah. It was just a bad day. Snow geese are finicky. They're like the most finicky ones. And
Is that why there's so many of them?
yeah, and they're, I've heard lots of averages of ages, but I've seen a bunch banded shot, and it's always like well, not always. Mostly juvies are killed, but I see a lot of bands that are 12, 8 years old,
Wow.
15 years old, and they say, they go in such a big group that if one sees you,
Yeah.
you got 10,000 sets of eyeballs looking down, right?
Right.
And they've all been shot at. Every one of them.
Yeah. The ones
Except for the juvies.
Right.
Which, those are the ones you usually shoot. Like, no! Gene Pool.
Yep.
I told you Simmons would run dry. Finally. So, what's your favorite hunting story?
I suppose it'd probably be my set of antlers up there. The year I got the double, well, 2 of them in the weekend.
Nice.
The big one there is the one I got, the swamp buck I got. When I walked out to the cedar grove way out in the middle of nowhere, out in the middle of this swamp. So I could go smoke.
Yeah.
So I got out there, hopped up on a cedar stump, was doing my smoke, and I looked over, there was a tree that was falling down. Roots had ripped up and fallen down. And I saw the tip of the antlers. I had to look like 3 times. Yes, that's antlers.
Yeah.
So I guessed where I thought, finished my smoke. Guessed where I thought the deer was, where the good shot would be, and shot. Nothing happened. Didn't see the antlers anymore. Had to question whether I saw the antlers in the first place. So I had another smoke. After I was done with the smoke, walked around the root end of the tree, and as I came around, that thing charged at me with just the front legs. Full on charge. About 15, 20 feet away, came charging at me. Scared the poop out of me, and I shot it one more time. Luckily, that stopped it.
So, you paralyzed it?
Yep, with the first shot went right through the top of and took out the spine.
Yeah.
So his back legs were done.
Yeah.
But he charged me with just the front legs.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, good thing you went around and,
Yeah, scared the heck out of me. And then it dressed out at about 250 pounds. It was a big one.
Oh, wow.
So the guys didn't let me go out on my own again.
The antlers are huge.
And then the little one there, the next day, since they wouldn't let me go anywhere, I had to drive for somebody. A bunch of us were doing a drive. And that one came down out of a ravine and couldn't see me, so it kept running right towards me. And I had my 30-30, so it was 6 in the holding thing and then 1 in the chamber, so 7 shots.
Yeah.
And I shot all 7 shots of that thing. As it was running, removing.
Yeah.
And you could see where I had skimmed one along the side of the body. I'd taken out one of the legs. And it wasn't until that seventh shot that it went right down the gut.
Oh my God.
My father laughed at me when they finally came around. He said he thought it was my grandfather with his semi-automatic, where it was me with my 30-30, the lever action. He thought I was shooting it as fast as a semi-automatic. Yeah, so that's my fun hunting weekend. I bet I was, what, 18 maybe, 17?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so, yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
I mean, at the end of the day, even though the kills were terrible, the best part was you had all those bragging rights.
Yep.
And so there's probably plenty of guys that were Mr. Expert, all the, you better not smoke, and la 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 la. And you're the one like, yeah, pretty big buck out there. You see that one? Yep. It's mine. I know a lot of deer hunter guys that smoke that don't have an issue, and then I know a lot of deer hunting guys that, you know, they bury their clothes.
Yeah. Leave their clothes hanging out in the woods for, you know, a month before the deer hunting season type of thing. Wash them with that scent-free stuff or whatever, yeah.
Well, you know, that's why I never got into deer hunting. I love watching deer. And I grew up watching deer. And then the very first time I ever went out, like, deer hunting on a deer hunting trip, it was also duck hunting. So they were doing both at the same time.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, what usually kind of overlaps. I think it does in Minnesota.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we're in Nebraska at the time, and this was back before trail cams and all the, you know, the whole nine. And you know, people that live on property or whatever, there's an 8-point over there.
They know, yep.
Whatever. And sometimes they spook out and go on other people's land, and sometimes you know, whatever. But for the most part, they know. Furthermore, the ones that are really after them and are working the land every day and whatever, you know, the farmers, they see them drinking at the same lake every day and stuff like that. So,
because they do have a pattern.
Right. So my experience when I was young was, hey, check out this guy. We'll drive over. Right? Like, sit up on a hill or a ridge or whatever, get the binoculars out, and sure as shit, you know, the does would all be out, and big old stud would come out right before, you know, or right after sunset or whatever, and there he was.
Yep.
All the time. It was like, okay, if I put meat on my table, that's cool. Wrapping it into, you know, guys never getting a deer, right then and there, I was like, oh, deer hunting is about scouting.
Yes.
It's about scouting. So, like, stock and like, if you didn't have a prospect at all, you would just walk forever, right?
That's what I did as a youngin'.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I was, you know, that's what led me out into the swamp.
Sure.
Was fresh tracks.
Sure.
Because deer kind of act almost like pheasant. If you chase them up, they'll only run so far, and then they lay back down.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've come across deer in the woods my entire life. Normally, I'm not stalking them, so it's like, oh, wow.
Yep.
There's 7 deer right there. Where's the buck? Oh, there he is, you know? And I could definitely, if you didn't know at all, that's how it would be the same as driving around looking for ducks.
But the thing is deer do the same thing. I remember riding around up north on a tractor, you know, or, you know, 4-wheeler type thing. And if you're on a 4-wheeler buzzing down the trail, they'll stand right there and watch you. But as soon as that thing stops, they run.
Well, I don't know what it is about the Quiet Cat, but I've like even full on skid brake because I got the headphones in and I'm not thinking about it or whatever. I have a bunch of footage where I'm really, I mean, within 30 yards.
Yep, we've come across that disc golfing.
Oh, yeah.
Where the deer will be out in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah.
We'll throw the disc down there. The deer will walk 3-5 feet into the woods, wait for us to walk by, walk back out onto the fairway. Just wait for us to go by. Okay, guys, you're done. Cool.
Car.
Yeah.
Game on! Game on! Car!
Yeah, the deer are smart.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing how the wildlife has integrated itself into the suburb.
Yeah.
I even saw a coyote up in St. Paul.
Oh, there. I don't know who's. I think it was maybe Joe Rogan's podcast. There was like a guy, or maybe it was NPR. I think it was Joe Rogan's. But there was a guy from like Chicago who's like a biologist, DNR guy who was specialized in coyotes, and he went to LA or is in LA and tracking coyotes in LA.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. The bobcats is or whatever, mountain lion or whatever the hell.
The mountain lion, yeah.
I don't want to deal with any cat over like 35 pounds.
I don't even like dealing with the small cats.
Well, you can always do the dandelion thing.
Yeah. But you're going to get scratched doing that.
They are super predators.
They are.
They are. So, have you thought any good names for podcasts?
Not right offhand. But we're going to include everything in this, right? That's what you're getting at, is including fishing, deer hunting, upland birds, and waterfowl? Is what you want to get to?
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to actually. No.
No?
Like just like my YouTube, like like the duck hunting page, and a few of the other pages. It's great as far as the, I don't know how you say it, niche or whatever.
Niche, yeah.
The
niche, yeah.
The niche.
Depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Potato.
Yeah, I don't know. The niche. This is what I do. First of all, so like this podcast is part of it. Like the very first one I did was talking about how that I want the duck hunting page back to duck hunting. So like one thing that I'm doing right now is I'm giving away a duck call to whoever gets the most likes on a picture that or video that they submit to the page, and then I reshare it.
Right.
And then people like it, and then it's just a popularity contest. Whoever gets most likes, February 1st, I'm going to give them a duck or a goose call. Make it live, all that cool stuff. So the reason I bring that up is because I want duck hunters to be about duck hunting and duck hunting pictures and duck hunting top. The problem was I used it to generate revenue. It did so well and generated enough revenue that I had to take away from other jobs, and then it's cyclical. So it did good one year, and then not the next, and then 1 year not the next, and then I kind of had to force the issue on the page to try to make some freaking money. Like, oh gosh, I got to pay the mortgage.
Right.
I'll try to sell more duck calls. There's 500,000 people sitting there. 3 people might buy a duck call, and that's all I need is another $100.
Right.
So same as the podcast, where it's different than the podcast, where I want the podcast to be just like more about my interests. I want to be able to leverage the different pages that I have, YouTube, everything else like that, Instagram, duck hunting, deer hunting, fishing. So yeah, I have all these pages because I love all that stuff. I love fishing, I love hunting, I love the outdoors, I love e-biking. I love doing drones. I like shooting. I like playing guitar. So I want some of the topics are going to be probably guitar. And if anybody knows me or whatever, they know I like guitar. And so it wouldn't be surprised if I, whatever, right? Or it might be about drones, or it might be about photography or painting or outdoor stuff or survival.
You want the main subject to be waterfowl hunting.
No.
I thought that's what you were getting at. Oh, okay. Well, that throws off the name I was thinking.
Yeah, well, that being said, because that's my biggest platform and that's kind of what I'm known for, and like I go by Fowl Eric or whatever.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Since you go by Fowl Eric, I'm Fowl Rob. Mm-hmm. This is Fowl Talk.
I was thinking about foul mouths or something like that, Fowl Talk. Yeah.
I suppose then we could get a spin-off called Foul View. The talk, the view. Foul talk.
This is
foul
Baba
view.
Wawa. Oh my god.
Hey, we'll just follow what they're doing. They're making it work.
I saw some people had suggested good names. Oh, that's the contest where, hey,
Yep.
if you're still listening to this, write in the comments what your idea is.
Yep.
So, yeah, I need a good name, but I want it to be broad.
Okay.
So, like Foul Eric would work, but that ain't going to work.
Right.
And like Fall Talk could work, but I don't know. It's like a lot of times I settle and it ain't there.
Right.
And I don't think that's it.
Yeah.
I've done it a lot where I just, okay, name's done, let's move on to the next thing, and it's kind of good to be decisive and all that other stuff, but on the other hand, I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose the talk and the view are taken. So figure out something else.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, that'd be fun to figure out different names. I mean, it'd be fun to see what people send in.
Yeah. Well, and I think on the other side, if I keep it broad, that gives it, like I could have Quiet Cat. I mean, it does apply, but I could have them, and like I have a e-bike Facebook page.
Right. That's one of my goals, is get one of those. I want one.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, when I was thinking about other, like, little jobs to do, little, like you said, niche jobs. I was
Yeah.
thinking about walking dogs, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I also thought about being like a Jimmy John sandwich delivery guy.
Yeah.
I one of those Quiet Cats. Because they only do like 10 minutes away, right?
Yeah, but you'd have to recharge your battery every time you got back.
I thought it went like 40 miles.
Yeah.
Just have a few batteries.
That's not freaky fast.
Yeah, well,
It's kind of fast.
I
If
could
a
call
guy
myself
showed-
the green delivery. We're doing it green.
It would probably work uptown.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it'd be fun to go biking with you. Get myself one of those Quiet Cats or
Oh.
something like it.
My dad's got one, and he's gone with me a couple times. It's funny.
Yeah, I can see Dennis doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's a way for me to, it's kind of like my YouTube page. I've always had full control of that, and one day I'll do a video of being stupid, and then the next I'll do a how-to, and then the next is a duck
Right.
hunting, and the next is a giveaway. I guess I don't do giveaways anymore on that, but that's what I want the podcast to be about, is like more just like what my interests are. And I think because I've had good results in the past sharing my interest or things that I learned about or different ideas over a broad spectrum, that where I've never been able to get all the Facebook people over to YouTube because Facebook just won't allow it. I
Right.
can post videos forever on YouTube and they're not going to show up in anybody's feed, because then you're going to YouTube, which is Google, and
Facebook don't want that. Yeah. Well,
No.
that's basic business.
yeah, and the people that you see their YouTube videos, they pay, and I just never paid, right? Never paid for an ad, right?
Right.
So that being said, I think I can record this with interesting people, and we have a bunch of laughs, and I can put it across all those platforms and have one spot, and there are a few different ways, they could either listen to it on whatever page they're following me on, because
Right.
I just upload it like that, or they might find me on YouTube, or like maybe they have an iPhone, everyone's got an iPhone, I'll get on iTunes, and then I can consolidate my sponsorships too, and be like, hey, before and after everyone, these are the people I'm promoting today, this who's sponsoring it, and that helps me.
Yep. I can't wait till we start getting a hold of outfitters. You start
I'm talking to
about
him
that.
right now. That's what I'm gonna. As soon as we're off here, that's where I'm going. That's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
Yeah, I make the 10 calls, and I got a couple callbacks. The one guy might do a whole year.
That's cool.
Yeah,
You know, the sportsman show's coming up.
yeah. I've gone to those. I never have any. Like,
I was just thinking about making up, just get a bunch of business cards made up
yeah.
and just walk by their desk and just throw it on. Hey, just take a look at this. Later, when you're done working.
I mean, with the advertising, as far as like, it might not be a bad place to go around and drop off cards and get their cards and then follow up,
Yep. That's what I was thinking.
because you spend thousands to do that.
Yep.
Thousands and thousands.
You know, and we're a Minnesota company. It'd be nice to promote Minnesota companies.
Well, I think in the long run, there's such an opportunity to like get away, like just like the duck calls, like at the core, build a company around American made stuff. So like, I think, and like my long-term plan or whatever,
Right.
and I never planned on jumping from duck hunting to fishing. I always wanted to emphasize deer hunting next,
Yep.
and then use that to whatever propel me
Springboard you into fishing.
into fishing with that
Okay.
base. But making fishing rods is very similar to duck calls. You use a lathe. It's got a few different things, and I have, everyone makes handles and stuff, but no one makes handles like I make duck calls. And
Right.
I made grunt calls that are super intricate, but then feel like a proper handle in your hand instead of just
Yep.
like this weird like squished lemon shape or whatever, the squeeze ball, whatever. I could have a not only badass acrylic blah 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 for a handle, and
Yep.
yeah, people are going to copy me or whatever, but I mean, geez, some of those
You got a lot
fishing
of people
poles,
copying you.
they $200 or $500, like I think a reasonable one, same with, depending on the blank, you could probably do it for like $60-$70, just same as like a duck call. It's all handmade, all made in America, and grow that, and that can be part of, it's just
Yep. And looking at, doing blanks. Looking at the, fishing lures that they make with that stuff.
oh yeah,
That looks really cool too.
I spent hours on YouTube
Yep.
watching people fish or
Just-
paint
yeah.
fishing lures.
I was just fascinated by that stuff.
It's the opportunities are there, and like that's the thing. It's like I've said, it's there. It just takes so much resources.
Yep. Well, I'm sure there's a learning curve too.
Well, no, I mean that. For example, if I wanted to sell fishing lures, I could probably get them going pretty good and sell fishing lures. But then when do I make duck calls?
Right.
Right? And not that one's a priority over the other. It's just that's it. There are a lot of opportunities, and early back, and that's where the divide kind of started. It was really weird with me and like the Facebook duck call maker community, where like they were getting jealous of how many views I was getting, and like coming in and being trolly or whatever.
Yep.
And I thought about it for a while, and I was getting upset, and different things, and I was banning people or whatever. And then I thought, well,
Because they were nervous? They were coming in on you?
yeah, they're like, you suck and all that other stuff, right? And then I was like, wait, I have this big platform. They also make duck calls. There was always another guy that made duck calls, right?
Yep.
And I thought, well, why don't I offer them a slot on the page?
Right.
Like, hey, you can have between 6 and 7 on Wednesday. You can go live. You pay me $100. That's your hour. Sell all the duck calls you want. No problem. I'll have like, I could even, where I make like 10 or 20% on the sale, we can have Rob's call corner.
Yep.
And so you go to Effect Game Call site, and you can get calls handmade by other guys that can even make it live. Everyone just shot me the bird. Like,
You're kidding.
who do you think you are trying to charge $100 to me, and I'm thinking, man, you'll sell it. You know, you're a new guy. Like
Yeah.
everyone has all my calls. Even if they wanted another one, they're just like, man, I already got like 30. I love this guy, but Jesus, I got to stop by.
Right.
But if it's a new guy with a new style and new,
Yep.
they might want 10 or 20 or 40 from. They might like him better, and you know what? That's fine with me. It's like then I'm turning more into NBC, but I didn't get any of that. It was the same. I've given, and that's always been my downfall.
Sounds to me like those people are a little short-sighted.
Well,
They were thinking about now and not.
it's my
Future.
fault. What I need to do a better job of is presenting the opportunity to people in a structured manner and be like, this is, I want, let's say, $100, and this is what you do, A through Z.
Right.
When you give me $100, what you do is you go live, you promote your own website, you get a page on my site, I'll promote you on the other site, I'll talk about you in my live feeds, I'll prepare everything else like that. You make sure you have the, like, I think the problem is they get overwhelmed, right? And they go, what? Whatever. It's like you got to give them the whole instruction.
Right.
And I'm not good at that, where I give people opportunity. I say, hey, you want to make duck call blanks? Hey, do you want to make inserts? Hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Trying to bring everybody up around me. And I go, okay, cool. And they go, now what do I do? And I'm like, make the stuff you said you're going to make.
Right.
And they're like, well, how do I do that?
Right. Yeah.
It's like, okay, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. No, I want to do it.
I know exactly what you're preaching there. I'm feeling it.
Well, and it's a scary thing. Not everybody lives my life like me, but there are people, and maybe you included, that it's just a matter of structure, right?
Yep.
It's like it's just a matter of structure, and I'm like, hey, let's do this, go for it. And the person's like, where do I start? Where if I go, hey, let's do this, what you need to do is, 10 hours a week of this, that, and that. These are the boxes you have to check every day. And
Yep.
this is what you have to do every day. And that's what's required. And then the person goes, okay.
Yes.
So Tuesday I start at 10. I check off these 4 boxes. Wednesday I check off those 4. Thursday I check off 10 boxes. But that's going to be my long day. And then I'm done. I can do that.
Yep.
It's hard for me to find the time to structure it like that. And then I also just assume so much out of people. And then I hate to be like, do this, do that, do this, do that. Just weird.
Well, you seem to do pretty good at it.
It's weird.
And I've told you before, I'm not a good manager, but I work hard.
Yeah, that's the same. Me too. I'm a worker bee. So
Yeah.
My leadership is like an old gruffy baseball manager, right? Just
Yeah.
kicking dirt on people and turning my hat backwards and stuff. I go to my toolbox of like big boy rational ways to approach a difficult situation. I look in there and it's got a hammer.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, hammer it is. Kiss my ass.
And a lot of people can't take that.
I
I
don't
kinda like it.
I actually don't. I've had to deal with that so long. I don't like it. So I look in there, I go hammer, and I go fuck it. I'll do it myself.
Yep.
Oh, now he's pouting.
Well, I've told you a long time. I'm not afraid to get yelled at. I've been yelled at by the best, and it's just criticism,
I'm there.
and you move on with it.
I'm open to any dialogue.
Yep.
You just have to remind me to shut up every now and then.
I remember all across the warehouse to each other. That's how we got it. Asshole!
God, son of a bitch just called me asshole from 100 feet away.
Yeah, and you looked.
That's one of my favorite Facebook posts to repost. It's like, I may be called, or I may be an asshole, or you may call me an asshole, but I'm never called ugly or stupid.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, ugly! Never happened. Asshole every day.
That's funny.
Hey, stupid? No, not since I was about 13.
Yep.
And that's what everyone said to me. Hey, stupid! Huh?
Yep. We answer that one all the time.
Huh? Yeah, let's recap it. So we got, what stuff do we got going on? We got
Got to get a name.
name. If we pick your name, you get a duck call.
Yep.
Share pictures to the page, the Duck Hunters. It's at Duck Goose Hunters, plural. At DuckGoosehUnters on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
That's where you can post your pictures to win a duck call. The name, that. If you, I might as well throw it out there since I'm doing the podcast. I might as well reapproach that if you want to make duck calls live on the page.
Yeah.
So if you want to make duck calls live on the page, it's $100 an hour. I mean, it just is what it is.
You could almost even not just duck calls, but anything waterfowl.
Yeah, sure.
Decoys.
Sure.
I'd like to learn how to make some decoys.
Sure. Well, Scott did that. Yeah. So, yep, anything. If you want an hour of time a week, I got slots available, and we'll put it across different pages. We might find a better niche for you than duck hunting, but I want to get the content up on this page, and I want to use as many people as possible, and I want to make money. I mean, I like being...
Well, that's what business is about.
Above board about it all. I don't want to act like I'm over here, whatever. Some people act like, whatever.
Well, we're not doing favors. We're having fun.
Yep. But I think it would be great content, and I think, if a guy actually made something viable that they could make a living, or a girl,
Yep.
Paracord, whatever, lanyards and stuff. If they made something viable and they spent an hour live on the page, the $100 would be paid for by 100 times.
You know what I'd really like to see is waterfowl art.
Sure, painting,
sculptures.
My dad tells me to sell that painting. I think anything.
Yeah,
right.
When we say waterfall, I think that would be good content art.
Well, it doesn't even have to be waterfall because I have fishing pages.
Oh, okay. Yep, cool.
So we'll throw that out there. And as far as working and partnershiping with us, there's the if you're a guide service or an outfitter or a hunting lodge or whatever, we're launching a partnership where we're gonna. Well, you provide us content. You provide us pictures or videos if you have it of your hunts. We'll post those to the page. It's not going to be like advertising style. We will share your website and stuff like that all on our website. So you'll have your own page on our website, Joe's Outfitting Service, with all your information, links to your website and all that. But as far as the Facebook page and the Instagram and all that, we're not going to clog it up with links and all that. We'll put your name and everything in there.
Yep.
But the pictures, the video, all that stuff from you, you could send us 3 things a day. We'd post it there. As long as it's hunting related, that page. And it wouldn't matter. Pheasant hunting, quail hunting, whatever. We got all
That'll
those
be
pages.
fun. I can't wait.
Well, some people may do it and some people may. I have a few people that are going to start, and that's $500 a month. We'll give you shout outs on the podcasts, on the live feeds, everywhere. We can even do transparent overlays where you're featured on the live feeds. That's not a problem. We're going to work with you. And right now, since it's our first time, we're offering, instead of $500 a month, $2,500 for the whole year.
Wow, that's a big savings. Well, it is. I didn't even think about that when you were talking about it before.
The one thing we can share your link of, and we will, is your Facebook pages and Instagram. Facebook owns Instagram. So we will blow up your Facebook and Instagram pages no matter what plan you're on or whatever, because we'll be sharing those links and all that. So that should help. And even if you're just like, if you yourself make stuff and you don't want to go live, we can also promote you. Get it to the website. You guys see the numbers on the page. It's great. But just like the outfitters, it's not going to be links to your website or whatever. If you're building things or making duck calls or whatever, it's going to be pictures and video.
Right.
With whatever text you want. You can say, hey, this, it's a sunny morning and the dew's coming up and the fire's crackling and whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine, but no links, right? Unless it's a Facebook page link.
Cool.
That makes sense, right?
Well, the way I kind of picture it is be a nice place for somebody to go to plan all the hunting and fishing that they want to do.
Right. I mean, that's the thing.
Just one place to
That's
go
part
to
of
get
it.
it all done. Yeah.
Is that, the little hunting group that I talk to, we're always like, we should meet here. Where should we meet? Where should we meet? And then wherever the central location is, because you meet everybody online now, right?
Right.
Wherever the central location is, it's like, oh, it's wherever Kansas.
Yeah.
And none of us are from Kansas.
And don't know anybody there.
But we want to hunt in Kansas. Right. And then who do you put it in a forum, and it's just, they're going to tell you Uncle Joe's and all that other stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, I want to work with these places. I want to go and hunt at these places. I want to, and even more than that, I want to develop relationships with the owners that not only with the making of products or the guide services and stuff, but to just so we can all grow together. We have services to provide. There are plenty of people out there that want the services. If we all can work together and do a good job about it, then we can satisfy whatever needs that these people want.
Right. Yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Beneficial for everybody and fun.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. What else? If you want to be a guest on the show, comment below or message us.
How about just subjects for the podcast?
Yep. I asked that last time too. Yep. Anything that
got a question about or you want to highlight?
Yep. It's kind of funny because I watch a lot of streamers and YouTubers, and I have for a long time, and they always go, tell me what video to make next. And I always think, that's your job.
It is.
That's your job, right? So I like to phrase it like, if it's something totally unusual you think I wouldn't think of, or something just off the wall, or you want something tested that, and that's the thing too, going back to the property. I mean, there's so many things I want to do, like testing wise, buy a cheap gun and, like $100 shotgun and, make sure it fires, and then like walk out in the marsh and accidentally plug up the muzzle and then load it up, tie a string to the thing and shoot it
and see what happens
and watch that thing just explode. Unlimited. Take decoys, buy decoys from somebody. And I'm giving ideas to people. I don't care because I'm always thinking of something new.
Right.
And I'm sure people have done, I should put it the other way. I'm sure it's already been done.
Right.
I'm sure that's already been done 100 times. But like take 24 decoys from 2, 3, 4 different manufacturers, throw them in the pond in May. Take a picture, like keep 2 as like the control.
Right.
And then in September, bring them in and see how bad the sun and the weather and all that stuff over the last 4 months.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Which one lasted the longest? Which one sunk? Which one sprung leaks? Which one has problems? Which string deteriorated? Which weights? It's just unlimited the stuff you can do once you have, you got a trail cam set up. That video is a long video. That's a great video. We're talking about decoys and how good they are and different ones. And the decoy manufacturers, they're not doing, well, maybe they are. I should stop and say they've all done it, right?
Probably.
But they're all kinds of fun. That shoot at them, see who sinks them. I'm just talking about this one thing. How fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's unlimited fun stuff.
Well, I think for my first podcast, this has been pretty fun.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I knew it.
We'll have to do this more often.
Yeah, hopefully, I'd like to set it up so you're in it almost every time. We have fun together, and you think of things that I don't think of, and so I think so today is Thursday.
Yep.
But I'm going to put this out tomorrow.
Yep.
Which will be Friday morning. I think I'll be, and then not do anything Saturday and Sunday, kind of
see what it looks like, see what the numbers are, or
no, just to not do it on the weekend. And then I can kind of write out what 5 subjects I want, start that, and then the ideas are going to come. I got a special calendar, and I'll just
there you go.
Each day, the guests will be the hard part. At least at first. If there's no traction, it'll always be the hard part.
Right.
And you can get any Joe Bob to come and give his opinion.
Right.
But unless they have personality, that kind of sucks. But if you get traction, then it's easy.
Yep.
There's a gun company out there I want to try to work. There's a few people. I don't know. It's kind of off subject. But, yeah, it was a great.
Yeah, I've got a few people in mind, just Minnesota hunters that I think would be fun to have on.
I mean, and your buddy with the ice fishing.
Yep.
Like that. Like right now, the ice is weird. We could do an ice report.
Yep.
Where we drove around to all the big lakes and just pull out my phone. I or you go out there with a spud.
Yep.
Go 3 inches of soft.
Yep.
Lake Harriet. Go to the next one, right?
Yep.
That's a big deal, to a niche thing. You'd go out and do the whatever it would.
Drill a hole, measure it. Ice is 2 feet thick.
The migration. I mean, you wouldn't even have to hunt, which is kind of whatever. But you could like go to North Dakota, as far as the Central Flyway. Wait for them to come and wait for them to leave, and follow them all the way down, and just tell everybody.
Tell everybody where they're at. Yep.
Yep, I'm here and they're not here yet. Yep, I'm here and they're here.
Yep.
Yep, I'm here and they're gone. I'm going to go find them. Yep, I found them again. They're in South Dakota. Yep, I found them again. They're in Nebraska. Yep, I found them again. They're in that's it. That's the biomass.
Yeah. People are looking, everybody's looking at where the fishing, everybody, I know fishermen looking at that all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. That would be kind of fun to follow the geese.
Yeah, well, they do, but yeah. Well, cool. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed it and enjoyed Rob, because I want to have him here more often.
Yep, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. And if you want to be a part of the show, just leave in the comments or message whatever platform we're on, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, can always once we get popular, if we get popular, run a call-in thing.
Yeah, so that's what John specializes in.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I haven't decided about, because I've done that before, and there's really good screening and stuff like that. The problem is controlling the call-in.
Right.
You don't want to be rude, and you don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's more interesting, too, to just, stay on task.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Yeah, well, next time.
Yeah. See you next
See
time.
you guys.